Labor leader Andrew Little said today that while the party won't support the TTT in its current form, senior MP and Auckland mayoral hopeful, of course now Phil Goff, can back it. Goff says as former Trade Minister he started negotiations for the TPP and he supports opening markets for exporters.
I'm respectful of Labor's position on it. I have, on record, taken a somewhat different position.
So that's Phil Goff. Let's go to Andrew Little, who I think is joining us from our parliamentary studio. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening.
This is a shambles, isn't it?
No, I mean, it's been pretty clear. Phil Goff's view has been pretty clear, and I totally understand it. He's a former Trade Minister.
Did you try and talk him round? Did you try, for the sake of the Labor Party, did you try and say, Phil, buy into our position on this?
Well, the caucus had a good discussion about it this week. We've had other discussions before. And we've had, you look at the free trade aspects of the TPP, and of course, your urge is to want to go for that because we're a free trade party, and it's not just the work of Phil Goff and Mike Moore before him, but people like Joe Walling and Warren Freer. We've had 80 years of promoting
absolutely.
And championing
Helen
the cause
Clark
of free
regards
trade.
the free trade agreement with China as one of the triumphs of her prime ministerialship. So why are the costs of the TPP greater than what Phil Goff sees as its merits?
Well, we should get a couple of there's comments that people are making that aren't true. It is not true that if you are pro-free trade, you automatically have to support the TPPA. Actually, what you need to do is understand what's in the TPPA. Equally, if you're anti-TPPA, it doesn't automatically mean that you're anti-free trade.
So let's get that clear. So Phil Goff says the merits of the free trade that will be achieved are greater than the costs. What do you see as overwhelmingly negative about the TPP, meaning you're not going to buy into it?
There are provisions. The two specific things I can point to. One is the thing that would now, the part that would now prevent New Zealand's Parliament from passing a law that would restrict land sales to non-resident foreigners. And Labor's policy is to do that and to say to non-resident foreigners, if you want a house here, you build in your house.
Are we able to pass that law under the FTA with China?
Yes.
Okay.
And here's the other thing, John, too, that there are other countries party to the TPPA that carve themselves out an exception to that. So they can say Australia, Malaysia, Singapore and 3 other countries can all do that. We didn't. So we are now constrained. And even if the others didn't, the idea that we would enter an agreement that prevents our Parliament from passing a law that the politicians of the day, whoever they are, think is in the best interests of New Zealand, that's wrong. And the other thing that's in it is the number of times there is a provision under different chapters of the TPPA that say that before New Zealand considers passing a law or change to laws in particular areas, labour law is one of them, environmental laws, they have to open up the submission process to people who don't even live here and to corporates who don't even live here and treat them as if they were citizens of New Zealand. That's wrong too. That brings our lawmaking process under the influence of people who don't live here and have a stake here.
Okay,
and that's wrong.
So that's what you see as wrong.
Yep.
Phil Goff, Helen Clark, John Key all think that the access to markets outweigh those negatives. Why are they wrong?
So there's a qualitative difference to what I would call, the economic trade-offs that you make. The tariff reductions, and that's going to have an impact on businesses here and jobs here. But there are opportunities turned on the other side of the thing. The thing is that the stuff I'm talking about is not economic. It's about citizens' rights. And so the question you ask, is there ever a price? Is there ever a price that we would accept that says we will open the influence of our Parliament and our lawmaking process to people who do not elect the lawmakers?
Okay, so you're sounding today much more focused on this. When you spoke to Guy Espiner on Morning Report on Tuesday morning, you just sounded all over the place. Was that because you were still working out your position? Was that because you were trying to talk Phil Goff around? Was that because there was broader dissent within caucus? David Shearer, for example. Why has it taken you till this time to be so clear on your message?
I'm not going to make any apology for the fact that this has been a difficult issue for the Labor Party because we are and we remain wedded to free trade. And we've had good discussions, and we had a good discussion this week that we concluded on Tuesday. And now we have a position, and Labor's position is clear.
A good discussion that you concluded with Phil Goff being allowed an out. Do you have David Shearer's buy-in?
Yeah, I've had a conversation with David, principally about the remarks he's made. I've yet to have another conversation because all caucus members know that caucus collective responsibility is vital, and we've got to talk about what the consequences
Except there was a dispensation for Phil Goff, right? Can there be? Is David Shearer going to require a dispensation as well?
Well, I haven't had that discussion with David about that, and that's not the issue. Here's the
At some level, there are broader principles here. At some level, there are big, important principles, and this is a very important discussion. But you know the business of politics is about dotting your I's and crossing your T's in terms of managing your caucus. And unfortunately for you, it's often what the media focuses on. Shouldn't you sort this stuff out?
The thing about it, there wouldn't be an issue that comes to caucus where there isn't a diversity of views. That's why you discuss things and you get to a position. And we've had discussion and we've got to a position. And the reason why it's, we've taken a while, we've taken a time, we haven't flown off all over the place throughout last year. We've waited till we had the text, we've had a good look at the text, we've taken advice, we've done the reasonable measured thing that you would expect a responsible party to do, and we've done that, and we've done it respectfully with all the people in our caucus, as we do with caucus discussions. We've arrived at a position that is the caucus position, and that's it, and that is the responsible thing to do as well. And
that's it. So you're there now. This is where Labor stands.
We've said we don't support the TPPA in its current form because of these things, the non-economic things in it. That cut across citizens' rights. There is no price on that. We will never stop championing the cause of free trade. I didn't stop championing it when I was a union leader, and I was accused by the chief executive of one of our largest exporters of being a traitor because I supported the China FTA. I am absolutely wedded to free trade, and I'll never stop advocating it and championing it. But I cannot also, with my legal background and my commitment to citizens' rights and human rights, see clauses, have us sign up to clauses that cut across the democratic rights of New Zealand citizens. That sticks in my craw, and at some point, someone has to stand up for that.
Andrew Little, leader of the Labor Party.